Welcome to Niagara Falls Public Library's Fridays 5 at 5, Episode 1. Since it's Women's History Month, our first theme this Friday 5 at 5 is going to be Spirited Heroines, Oceans Away, with Librarian Cecilia. The first one we'll start with is a book set in our nearest ocean, the Atlantic East Coast, with The Mermaid Chair by Sue Monk Kidd. Kidd is famous for her best-selling first novel, The Secret Life of Bees. The Mermaid Chair is gripping, intense, and gorgeous as well. And it starts with inside the church of a Benedictine monastery on Egret Island, just off the coast of South Carolina, resides a beautiful and mysterious chair ornately covered with mermaids and dedicated to a saint who, legend claims, was a mermaid before her conversion. And it starts with a couple of poetry quotes. I don't love you as if you were a rose of salt, topaz, or arrow of carnations that propagate fire. I love you as one loves certain dark things, secretly, between the shadow and the soul, by Pablo Neruda, is one of the quotes. And in the prologue, in the middle of my marriage, when I was above all Hugh's wife and Dee's mother, one of those unambiguous women with no desire to disturb the universe, I fell in love with a Benedictine monk. So that's the Mermaid Chair by Sue Monk Kidd. The book takes us to the other side of the pond, to French Brittany, with The Little French Bistro by Nina George, translated with wonderful humor by Simon Parr. You will notice some similarities with the themes in the first book, although here it's delightfully crisp and funny French voice, and our heroine gets into predicaments in and out of the water. So it's a bit more humor and a bit of a lighter read. It starts with, it was the first decision she had ever made on her own, the first time she was able to determine the course of her life. Marianne decided something that you have to read to find out. Here and now, down below in the waters of the Seine, late on this gray day, on her trip to Paris, there was not a star in the sky, and the Eiffel Tower was but a dim silhouette in the hazy smog. Paris emitted a roar, with a constant rumble of scooters and cars, and the murmur of metro trains moving deep in the guts of the city. So if you want to travel and experience a bit of Europe, The Little French Bistro would be a really good choice. A little more summary. There, Marianne is swept up by a new life at Armour, the Sea restaurant. She meets Jan, the handsome painter, Geneviève, the fiery restaurant owner, Jean-Remy, the heartbroken chef, and many others. Among food, music, and laughter, Marianne finds a forgotten version of herself, passionate, carefree, and powerful. That is, until her past comes calling. So that is The Little French Bistro by Nina George. Our next choice is going to take us about as far as we can go, to an ocean about as far away, to the middle of the Pacific, to Oahu in Hawaii, and it's House of Many Gods by Kiana Davenport. On the back cover, it says, abandoned by her mother as a child, Anna is raised by her extended family on the lawless Waianae coast of Oahu. Against the odds, she becomes a physician. While tending victims of Hurricane Iniki on the neighboring island of Kauai, she meets Nikolai, a Russian filmmaker with a violent and tragic past, who can confront reality only through his unique prism of lies. Yet he is dedicated to recording the ecological horrors in his motherland and across the Pacific. As their lives inextricably intertwine, Anna and Nikolai embark on an odyssey that sweeps the reader from rural Hawaii to the forbidding Arctic wastes of Russia, from the poverty-stricken Waianae coast to the glittering harshness of New Moscow, and the haunting, faded beauty of St. Petersburg. That is House of Many Gods by Karina Davenport. And it's really very powerful and eye-opening about the effects of World War II on the people and land of Hawaii. Book number 4 is a thoughtful journal, a classic, a solo stroll by the sea, with Anne Moreland Lindbergh's Gift from the Sea. Anne Moreland Lindbergh lived a very active and exciting life. She was married to aviator Charles Lindbergh and flew all around the world with him, raised 5 children, and in Gift from the Sea, she takes a vacation alone away from her hectic routine, and it's really a nice companion to either a armchair beach travel, or if you're actually going to be on a lakeside, this would be a great little book to take with you. Drawing inspiration from the shells on the shore, Lindbergh's musings on the shape of a woman's life bring new understanding to both men and women at any stage of life. She's a mother of 5, an acclaimed writer, and a pioneering aviator. Lindbergh casts an unsentimental eye on the trappings of modernity that threaten to overwhelm us, the time-saving gadgets that complicate rather than simplify, and the multiple commitments that take us from our families. So it's a little book, and it really rewards rereading if you've read it before. So for the movie choice to include today, I really had to tell you about Song of the Sea, which is a film by Tom Moore. Tom is spelled T-O-M-M, and Moore is M-O-O-R-E, if you want to look it up online and see trailers. So, Song of the Sea is an animated movie, and I wouldn't have thought that that was something that I would have ever been drawn to, but it was recommended to me by my son, who was in college at the time, and it's just very beautifully done. It goes into another legend with a young girl who is a Selkie, and how she develops and her knowledge of who she is, and her brother works with her, and they go on an epic journey to save the world of magic and discover secrets of their past. Of course, there's a bad guy, so they're pursued by the owl witch Matcha and a host of ancient and mythical creatures, and they race against time to awaken the young lady's powers and keep the spirit world from disappearing forever. As enthralling for adults as for children young and old, Song of the Sea is a wonder of magical storytelling and visual splendor that is destined to become a classic. And the music is gorgeous, and it really is good for all ages. When people are in kind of a quiet little mood at the end of a day, settling in, it would be really, really, I can't say really enough. So that's that for today's Friday 5 at 5 from the Niagara Falls Public Library. Niagara cardholders within the Niagara system can request any or all of today's choices by emailing nflref@niagara.org or call 716-286-4894 and place a request. And you can pick up your items at the curbside table just inside the doors, following the usual CDC guidelines that we're following at this time. Thank you for being here with us at Fridays 5 at 5, at the Niagara Falls Public Library. Niagara cardholders within the Niagara system can request any or all of today's choices by emailing nflref@niagara.org or call 716-286-4894 and place a request. And you can pick up your items at the curbside table just inside the doors, following the usual CDC guidelines that we're following at this time. Thank you for being here with us at Fridays, 5 at 5 at the Niagara Falls Public Library.